Please put your hands together for Fazer.
Daps was like, yeah, my cousin sings. Let's see if we can get her down. She's like, no, I'm gonna be a solo singer. And he was like, look, 20 quid. She upped the ante up to 50 quid. She comes to the studio and the rest was history. Yeah, it was fighting at a petrol station one time. Same thing. Someone wants to say something and then it escalates. But we ended up doing 4 nights sold out at the O2 Arena in London. So we done like 88,000 people over 4 days. We had a barrage of bad press all the time. Like no matter what good we did, no matter what charity that we was part of and anti-bullying campaign we was on, doesn't matter, bruv. The press are gonna having a field day. But yeah, T had that whole ordeal with being set up by the press and then being on every single flipping newspaper in the country, Paps outside her house not letting her breathe. Alright, what are you telling me?
Nah. What do you reckon? Is that any good or not?
The sentiment was there behind it, but it's a bit more of it's got a break in the middle. It's a bit more nah.
Welcome back to the Criminal Connection podcast, and this episode is proudly brought to you by Betovo. Before we get stuck into this week's episode, we're going to give a big shout out to our sponsors. Big thanks to our sponsor, IME. This global tech outfit ain't messing about. They've got these slick video interviews that have you connecting like there's no tomorrow. Whether you're running a business, running the streets, or doing your own thing. Perfect for those in marketing, recruitment, admissions, and even for auditions. And their platform, smooth as silk, designed with you lot in mind. IME's the ticket to making those connections count. VIP security services have been established for 35 years. VIP Security offers a personal security service to escort you, your family and your friends, whether on business or out for the evening. Protect what's important to you. We're watching you while others are watching us. Prevention is always better than the cure. You're in safe hands. Security solutions across Essex, London and the home counties. I want to say a huge thanks to our sponsors, Fragrance du Bois. Now, for those of you that don't know about Fragrance du Bois, where have you been? It is one of the leading luxury fragrances, only available in Harrods, Selfridges and Neiman Marcus in New York. This brand is indulging in pure luxury. It's crafted from the rarest and finest ingredients. Each fragrance tells a story of timeless elegance, and that's why the Podfather wears it. The Podfather does have a personal favourite. It's called Oud Bleu Intense. So for anybody that likes Oud Parfum, that one for me is the one. But they've got so many different fragrances for men, for women. All of the fragrances are unisex, so make sure you get involved and sample the delights of Fragrance du Bois. Every time I film an episode of the Criminal Connection podcast, every guest I've had, I've always said the same thing. Cool, Terry, that smells nice. What's that? And I say, it's Fragrance du Bois. And they go, what's that? And I'll give them a link, and I'll give them 10% off, and they buy a bottle. So make sure you get involved. For all the Criminal Connection podcast crew, we've got a special discount for you. 10% off. All you need to do when you click on the link below and choose your luxury fragrance is to put in CCPOD10 for the 10% discount. So if you'd like to find out about any of our fabulous sponsors, make sure you check out the links in the description below.
Welcome back to the Criminal Connection podcast. My name is Terry Stone, and today we're joined by a legend from Camden. It was Dub Crack City back in the day, but please put your hands together for the main man. Well, he would say that, from N-Dubz. Please put your hands together for Fazer.
Hey, listen, Terry, we're in the building, bro.
Yes, mate.
Come on, man. Nice to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you. So I've been practicing for this because I thought it was very important to pay my homage.
Yeah.
To you and to N-Dubz. So
thank you, bro.
I wanted to just make sure I got it right.
Go on.
I've been practicing this, so I'm not really a singer, but I just wanted to see if there was ever a chance to become a fourth member of N-Dubz, whether I could get in.
All right, what are you telling me?
Nah. What do you reckon? Is that any good or not?
Hey, listen, it was all right. The attempt was, the sentiment was there behind it, but it's a bit more of it's got a break in the middle. It's a bit more nah. There you go. Terry's the fourth member there. Come on, Terry's the fourth member now, bro. We're in the game.
But no, honestly, mate, it's so good to see you, and thanks for coming on.
No, likewise, man. Pleasure.
Obviously, I've known of N-Dubz for years. I know Talisa well. I've never met Dappy, but obviously we've come into each other's paths.
We have done
on many
indeed.
occasions, which we talk about.
Yeah, man. It's been.
But I think a lot of people that will be listening or watching our show probably won't know, obviously, your origin story.
Yeah,
and how
I guess so.
How it all began. So I'd love to go all the way back to I think they used to call it, was it Crack Camden or Camden?
Crack Town. Crack Camden. You name it, bro. Sea-Town. That was where I was born and raised.
Wow.
My whole life I grew up in Camden, in the estates there and stuff. People think of Camden and they just think of the food stores and the market and stuff.
It's all
like
trendy
that.
now, isn't it?
Yeah, man. If you want to go for a good bit of scrum and that, like a bit of food, yeah, man. Camden's the place to go. But beyond the exterior of the high streets and stuff, if you walk literally 1 or 2 roads behind the high streets, you'll see all the council estates, you'll see all the poverty, you'll see all the gangs and all of the stuff that goes along with it, you know.
So you grew up on a council estate?
I didn't grow up personally on a council estate,
right, okay.
but I was the only black family on a council house on some rich road.
Right,
so happily managed, my mum managed to get a council house in a nice part of Camden.
Yeah, lovely.
Unlike Dappy on the flip side, he was like in the heart of the trenches. Like,
so Dappy was in the hood?
Like he's in the heart of the trenches. Wow. I used to go into the hood and scoot back out at the end of the night, bruv.
Right, wow. So how did you and Dappy meet him?
Well, I've known Dappy since I was like 6 years old.
So like school pals?
No, I met him in karate, funny enough. Right. We used to do karate when we was kids and stuff.
You're like Eddie Murphy, ain't you? I'm a karate man!
Don't mess with the boy! You get me? But yeah, no, things was good. And I met him when I was like 6 years old in karate. He ended up going to the same school as my friend that lives on my mum's road. And they used to play on the same football team. So after the football games, they'll go back to my friend's house that lives on my mum's road. We all hang out together. So I met Dappy prior before that at karate. And then when we was getting older, 10, 11 years old and stuff, we was hanging around a bit more. And then Dappy got expelled from his school, came to my school in Camden. And then the rest is history. We've been best friends since.
That's amazing. What a great story how you met. And obviously growing up then, I mean, what was it like? Like you said, there was an underlying element of crime. Well,
you know what it is, yeah? We come from a place where, like, I think at the time, Camden had the biggest population for drug abuse in London.
Please don't tell me that was your fault.
No, it wasn't, but I think we contributed to it.
Right.
Because, coming up for us, your friends and your peers that you're around, you might be coming out on a Friday night, you got like a couple quid in your pocket that your mum's giving you. Meanwhile, you're looking at your friend who's the same age as you. He's sitting there, he's counting hundreds and hundreds of pounds of cash. And you're like, bro, where'd you get that money from? He goes, I'm outside, I'm trapping. I was like, what do you mean trapping? He goes, doing a bit of wheeling and dealing and that. I was like, And it was very easy to get influenced into that lifestyle, Right. And for many of my young years, I was very knee deep in that sort of stuff.
Right.
But it kind of made me the person I am today, because with everything that came along with it, made me into this person that I am now. It's just like mad independent, mad strong. And the situations that led me here was because of certain things I was doing at that time. Like when my mum kicked me out when I was 15, for example. That was because I was really in there. My mum didn't approve of what was coming in the house. And she said, okay, you're a big man, whatever. No, you go and stand on your own 2 feet because I don't want this in my house.
Wow.
And I don't want the trouble and I don't want the police anymore.
So we're doing Dappy up. So Dappy.
Dappy, I'm coming to live with you. His mum and dad would not have let that happen. But I ended up living with my friend in his hostel in Camden. So it's literally a one room. I lived in there for 2 years with him. And those nights when he never came home were the best nights ever because I could sleep in the bed, not on the floor.
Wow.
Amazing.
I mean, people watching this probably would never have, like they just see you on the stage, they see you having the number one hit, they see you living a life and they don't ever look at you and go, they probably think that's always been your life.
Yeah, that's the thing. But to be honest with you, music has always been a part of my life, regardless of what I was involved with as in my younger years and stuff like that. At that time, music was still the main core primary focus. Right. So like, instead of going to school, I was going to the studio. Because I didn't have a job, I had to fund my lifestyle a different way. which allowed me to keep going to the studio and keep working and pay for my sessions and whatnot. So it was it went kind of like hand in hand in a weird sense. But yeah, man, it was a long journey to get to where I am now, basically.
So I need to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Dappy.
Yeah.
Is his dad Mungo Jerry?
So his dad was in the band Mungo Jerry.
Right, okay.
So Ray, the main guy, the singer Ray, was Mungo Jerry, the main singer, and Dappy's dad was in the band along with Talisa's dad.
Right, wow.
So Dappy's dad was on bass. Dappy's uncle, which is Talisa's dad, was on keys, piano.
Because I know that track is probably it's probably made him so much money. The guy who wrote it or sung it or the band. But it was the most irritating fucking song.
Oh, mate,
ever.
trust me.
I was just going to say, I was just going to ask you, whether, because I was just imagining you going around to Dappy's house and his dad's in there going, in the summertime.
So listen.
And you sort of went, I want to do that.
No, it wasn't even that. But funny enough, it was Dappy's dad that was managing us and really kept us on the path to become the success that we was,
Right.
And he was managing us for many of our early years. And he was like our mentor in the music.
Amazing. Well, I suppose he's been there, seen it, done it.
He's been there, seen it, done it. He knew how we should run it correctly. You know what I mean? And we was working towards a major plan at the time. And the plan was majorly successful. We executed correctly. Yeah. But it was a long run, man. We grafted for 10 years before we even got our first bit of recognition,
Well, I think that's important for people to understand as well, because people always... In today's society, everybody kind of wants to be a influencer, or they want to be a famous singer or a famous actor. But there's obviously that amount of graft. I mean, 10 years, most people would have given up, right?
Yeah, man, definitely. And there was points in our careers where we was like, is this actually ever going to happen for us? Like,
so when you started off, was you literally just both? Was you just both into the rap music?
Well, times there it was house and garage was the main thing, and grime. Right. When we was growing up, so I had turntables in my house, some decks and that,
right.
And every night after school we'd go back to my house and we'd make tapes and stuff like that and pretend that we was on like pirate radio station, reading out our phone numbers in the house and doing shout outs to nobody that's calling in because we're in my house and pretending that we're on radio. But our thing was to rap for an hour. You know what I mean? Non-stop, back to back and stuff like that, and really get through sets and really honed in on our rap skills them times. Right. And we kind of just like, when we got into secondary school, Daps was like, hey, listen, my dad's got a studio. Should we go to the studio? So this was in Neasden, right. Dollis Hill. And we went to the studio for the first time, done a couple songs, and then it was one of the songs that we did, we was like, we should get a singer on this. And then there was this girl in our school that could sing. Everyone knew that she was like the bad boy singer in our school. So we was like, hey, look, you need to come studio with us tonight, innit? She's like, yeah, I'm coming. Anyway, she blew us out. Imagine that, she blew us out.
Can't believe that.
Imagine that.
Well, that wasn't Talisa, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, right,
it was another girl, but then Daps was like, don't worry, listen, my cousin sings. Yeah, let's see if we can get her to the studio. So
if that girl's watching this, she must be sick.
Kicking
it could have been you.
It could have been you, babes. Yo, you missed that train, you know. You missed that one, you know. That was a fast moving train, you know. London, Birmingham, real quick. Yeah, but listen, Daps was like, yeah, my cousin sings. Let's see if we can get her down. So Daps' dad just rang Talisa and been like, yo, do you want to come to the studio? The boys want you on a song. She's like, no, I'm going to be a solo singer. I don't want to be in no group and do no song with no boys and stuff like that. And he was like, look, 20 quid. Says that you're going to come to the studio. He goes, what do you think I am, B? Like, T's a little hustler. Like, she's like, fam, she weren't having it for 20 quid. Anyway, she upped that.
She bid you up to 50.
She upped the ante up to 50 quid to Uncle B. He's like, all right, come on then, 50 quid. Says that you don't want to be a solo singer. She comes to the studio and the rest was history. We worked for 10 years together.
Wow.
Until we got our first break. But it was a lot of ups and downs in the time, and you know, are we ever going to make it? And start looking at other things in life and other avenues.
What would you say was the hardest thing about that route from when you started off to meeting Daps and then obviously getting with Talisa? You know, what was the thing that kind of kept you going? Was it because the
thing that kept us going was, I'll be honest, a lot of it was to do with Daps' dad. Like, there'd be times where I'll be in the hood, 3 o'clock in the morning, and this guy would call me, Fazer, where are you? I'm just in Kilburn. He goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm just chilling. He goes, all right, I'm coming to Kilburn to come pick you up. I said, B, I'm doing something. He goes, I'll be there in 25 minutes. Don't leave me waiting. I said, B, I can't. Don't come. And he's put the phone down in my face. I'm like, this guy's going to pull up at Kilburn. I know it. An hour later, this guy calls me, Fazer, I'm in Kilburn. Where am I going? All right, cool. Give him the address to where he's going. Pick me up. Take me back to N-Dubz's house. Stay at N-Dubz's house. All right, next morning, 10 a.m. Come on, guys, you got to get up. You got studio today. Let's go. And he really kept us off the streets and focused on the music and really gave us that sort of drive and belief that we was going to be the biggest in this country, you know. And with that, we actually believed it. No one else could have told us that we wasn't going to be successful. And we just worked day and night.
If you didn't have that guy putting his arm around you and actually guiding you, what do you think would have happened? Do you think you'd
To be honest, man, the way life was set up at that time, man, I feel like for us, look, man, T would have probably moved into... She was like going into sort of like, she was working at a management company at the time. So she probably would have went into sort of management for artists and stuff like that. And me and N-Dubz we was just too sort of embedded in the crime life. We would have ended up in prison or in jail, one of the two, in prison or dead, one of the two, to be honest. I feel like that was the only sort of way out, is either music, football or drugs.
Right.
You know, and luckily the music thing, after 10 years, done what we were supposed to do, you know.
I mean, when you're on an estate or you're in a deprived area, which, you know, council accommodation is, you're surrounded with opportunities to obviously go left rather than right.
Oh, mate.
And obviously the kids now all want to get there quicker. And do you think that's probably why there's been an increase in crime? Because everyone's trying to chase it.
I feel like, you know what it is? No one wants to graft for nothing, really. Everyone wants quick money right now. You know, no one wants to put the time in to really develop something for themselves, you know, because I say, like, I got kids. And I say to my kids, I say to my oldest, I say, look, in this life, yeah, if there's something that you love doing, you can make a career out of it. You just got to figure out a way to scale it. You know, once you find your passion, get good at your passion, actually become the best at your passion, and then figure out a way how to scale it. Once you can scale it, then you'll be doing a job. It's not even a job. You're just doing what you love, and then a bonus is you get paid for doing what you love, you know?
Do you think your kids are going to follow you into music?
It's hard to tell at the minute. My eldest daughter, she's very musically inclined. Like, she's ahead of all of her music classes at school. Right. She's stage 3 piano, classically trained and stuff like that. So she has a high interest for creative stuff. She's an artist. She loves drawing. Right. She loves pianos and violas and instruments and stuff like that. So she's musically a very creative person. Right. My oldest. The other 3 youngest ones, it's way too early for me to even grasp what they're going to be doing. Yeah. All they care about right now is milk, bruv. Milk and a boob, bruv. That's it.
You haven't got one of those fake pair of boobs, have you?
Nah, bruv, I'm like the manliest man you can find, bruv.
No, because I've seen people.
Yeah, but bruv, that's the most demeaning thing, bruv. Like, you might as well just go out and wear a skirt, bruv, man. Like,
someone said to me that you know, so that men can obviously stand with their wives, they can actually, this is madness. they get these like fake boobs, and they actually put milk in them. And
no, that's mad.
I was just like, it ain't a good look.
No, that's mad. Let's give me the baby the bottle, yeah? Old school, yeah? That's all I know, bro.
If you've actually got a wife or a girlfriend that actually suggests that, I think you've got to get rid of it.
No, I think that's a red flag right there, man. Listen, if your girl ever suggests to you, bro, yeah, that you got to wear one of them titty things, yeah? Listen, it's not the one. It's just run a mile, bruv.
So you've got, is it 4 you got?
I've got 4 kids now, man.
And what are their ages?
My oldest is 11. I've got 2 15-month-old ones that they were born last year, February. And I've just got another one that's basically a month old. So I've got like 3 under 2.
I take it you just don't like sleeping.
I don't know what it is. I just feel like, it's like I don't like contraception or something, bruv. At this rate, bruv. Honestly, man.
Are you done at 4?
I'm done at 4, man. I'm twisting my things as far as they can be twisted, man. You know, vasectomy, sectomy, whatever you want to call it, man.
Do you know something? I thought about that because I said I was stopping at 3.
Yeah.
But the problem with that vasectomy thing is obviously it can have complications, and
I'm not doing a vasectomy. To be honest with you, I spoke to my flooring guy, and he was like, "Yo, listen, it was the most painful thing I've ever done in my life." I said, "Yeah, painful. Yeah, I'm not involved.
Right.
I don't like. I'm not the one for pain, bro."
And obviously, when would you say was your first big break?
Our first big break happened for us was around 2000 and end of 2006, 7 for us. We was like 19 at the time.
Wow.
And we released our second sort of song on a platform called Channel U at the time.
I remember it well.
Yeah. And we put this video out on there, and then everyone just kept requesting this video to come on this channel, because you used to be able to text in and request what songs you used to, what videos you wanted to watch and stuff. So every hour, the song was getting requested like 10, 11, 12, 13 times in an hour. So it's just like the whole hour is pretty much just us. And then it was happening for weeks on end. And we was like, people that actually like our song or something, like, because they keep requesting this, like, and it's on there a lot. And then they had this sort of chart thing for the amount of the most viewed sort of songs for the weeks and stuff. And we was like 7 weeks #1 on there for one of these songs that we did.
And what track was that?
It was called You Better Not Waste My Time.
Right.
And it started off with Dappy in a pram with his Dappy hat on, going na na na, yeah. So that one there kind of just like,
he was doing the na 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 na.
Yeah. And the thing that for us, that what that video did for us is that everyone was doing certain sort of videos at that time, and we really pushed the box out and went out there and did certain things. Like Dappy was saying, "Oh look, you probably think I'm a chap with good manners. He's in a suit and stuff with a poodle and stuff like this in this house. Like you probably think I'm a chap with good manners. Well, you're wrong. I'm the scum of the earth." And when he says scum of the earth, it goes to the trenches in Camden, all tracksuits on now, from the suits off, mate. You get me? Like, and he's rapping about his life experiences, and then I come in talking about my life experiences and T's life experiences. Collectively, the people didn't know what was hitting him, and he was writing songs as well. At the time, a lot of music on that channel was just pretty much 2 notes on a keyboard, dum, 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 and a repetition of that. And we came through with songs, which was like a breath of fresh air on that channel. So it's like, oh, what's this type of thing?
Well, I remember, like, literally, because I mean, I'm sure you used to come to the Garage Nation.
Yeah.
So when we was doing that, but when I come out in 2003, I remember, you know, listening to your early stuff, and it spoke to people. Like, if you're from the hood or you've been on the council estate, it spoke to people. And I think that's what became so popular, because, you know, if you look at the majority of the people in this country, the majority of them are working class, and they are from normal places, and they can resonate with. And I think people do get attracted to music if it resonates.
I feel like that was a conscious thing with us as well. We wanted to do songs that were relative, and songs that people could relate to. You know, like, we come from a certain place in the world, which we would call kind of underprivileged, and we feel like that we spoke to a generation of underprivileged kids and youth, you know, that didn't really have a voice at that time, as the internet was really early and stuff. So I feel like we was like the voice for these generation, for us to go out and talk about all the trials and tribulations that we was going through, and the stuff that we had to deal with and endure to get to where we was, you know.
I think back then, was it just MySpace and Facebook?
It was MySpace, Facebook. I think there was a few others. Like,
there was no Instagram or Twitter.
No, there was no Instagram or Twitter. There wasn't even YouTube them times.
Wow.
YouTube didn't come till, I think it was like, we started releasing our songs, like our later songs, 2010, 11, 12. I think YouTube started coming around and stuff like that. But we had a massive following on Facebook, and we did most of our promo through there, really, man.
And when you went from, you know, you're in the hood, like you said, you was trapping, you was up to no good, you was, you know, living this life, and then obviously you was doing the music, and the music was probably then the side hustle. But before the music became the main thing, did you ever have any actual problems on the like, you know, because obviously now there's a lot of knife and gun crime. I mean, was that still?
Yeah, man. Listen, man. One time I was on the way to the studio at Dollars Hill. Some guy pulled a knife on me, bro. Tried to rob me for my phone, and them things there. Still got a scar here from where he held the knife to me. But I don't know, man. I've always been a hot-headed sort of kid,
Right.
and I can handle myself. And like I said, I met Dappy in karate. We both got our black belts, man. We can fight, man. We can chop it up. Like,
See,
you know what I mean?
I would never have put Dappy down as a black belt and cry.
No.
I believe you, but
Yeah, no,
I would never put him down.
yeah, as
I
well
suppose
as-
people come unstuck with him, right?
Yeah, all the time.
He's only small, isn't
yeah,
he?
and that's why they always try to test him, and then they always lose, man. It's so funny, bro.
Was he doing the 1-inch punch?
Nah, he
Or was
was
he doing the quarter blood technique?
he was doing the dragon sweeps and you name it, bro. Roundhouses to the heads and yeah, madman.
Does the quarter blood technique exist?
I don't know, man. I think that's more of a kung fu thing.
Okay, the only reason I ask is because Eddie Murphy did that. I don't know if you remember in that
Yeah.
48 hours when he goes, I do the quarter blood technique and the quarter blood step out the man's body. I always wondered whether that was a thing. 'Cause
It's
I
a
never
thing,
did.
yeah, and the Buddha palm and all them sort of things there when they can blow your back out from the chest and that, like, yeah, man. But yeah, like I said, man, and the man held his knife to me and I moved the knife and then headbutt the ute in his face. And his face exploded on my face, which was gory in a sense. But like, you see the gang thing, we wouldn't call it gangs back in the day. Like people, I don't know, it was just a group of friends that we called brothers. And if someone's going to try and hurt your brother, you're going to protect your brother. You know what I mean? So we were just a group of brothers that just like, we used to say, yeah, man, you're my brother from another mother, man. You know what I mean? And it wasn't gang. We didn't call ourselves a gang, but we were just a tight group of friends that looked out for each other. And in our area in Camden, anyone from Camden will vouch for man and say that group of people were the crazy ones.
That was
in Camden. Everyone will know, like, and I'll say it on this podcast and type in the comments if I'm lying, but just me and my friends and my group of people were known in Camden for doing the whole gang thing from early, man.
So can I rename you? Can I call you Crazy Face?
You can call me Crazy Faze. Nothing's changed, man. I'm still Crazy Faze, and I've had that role in N-Dubz the whole time, man. The blackness and the bit ghetto, hot headed. I put the N in N-Dubz, bro. the black.
Yeah, baby.
You get me? I put the N in N-Dubz, yeah.
And with you, so you was the crazy off key one,
Yeah.
And then what was Dapper? What was his?
We was all outside, and
Was he the you in the ute?
No, and the thing is that Daps was the only, like, out of 25 black people, he was the only white kid there.
Wow.
Like he grew up eating African food, Jamaican food, but grew up around people speaking the way that we speak and the way that we talk and the way that we dress in our culture, and him being the only white boy in amongst a sea of black people, bruv, he had to do some mad stuff in his life. To like get everyone's respect and proof. Yeah, he was a hot-headed kid as well, man.
See, I don't think anybody watching or listening to this would realise that, and for everybody who's had a, would you call it a dragon kick?
Yeah,
Or
a dragon sweep or
Dappy.
a roundhouse from my man. He did it in Brighton one time. That was madness.
Was that when he got nicked? Because I remember reading about it.
No, we had a show down there and it kicked off on the pier, man. Properly, like, you know them days where it was just like gridlock on the beach, you can't find nowhere to sit and that, like,
Right.
and there's just like thousands of people on this Brighton beach, and then I don't know, we always had this saying, there's always one dickhead like
Right.
that's gonna come out and try and do something amongst a whole group of people that are like, yo, respect, we love what you do. There's always one that's saying, you Fazer, you Dappy, or someone says something, and we just G-checked them straight away, and it kind of just escalated into a full-blown riot on outside the front of the pier. And the thing that kind of set me off that day is that obviously there's so many people around, and these guys are throwing rocks and stuff, yeah, as we're walking up the stairs, and our security saying, let's just get in the cars and go.
Right.
I saw a Stella can come flying past me, bruv, and it must have hit this little girl in her face, bruv, yeah. The girl must have been about 6 or 7 years old,
That's
not even that.
liberty.
Bruv, hit her in her face, bruv, and you see when it hit her, and she just burst into tears, and the mum was all going all erratic, like, what's going on? It hit something inside me that I just flipped that day, man. And anyone that saw that fight of N-Dubz on Brighton Beach saw Fazer just go mad, bro.
Was Talisa there giving it some as well?
Nah, she weren't, man. She
So
weren't.
it's
She
just
doesn't.
Fazer and Dappy shutting
Fazer,
down
Dappy,
Brighton.
and the boys, yeah, man. And I went ape, man. I went absolutely ape, man. I fucking started cracking so many people. I cracked about 10 people that day, bro.
I'll be honest with you, like, it always amazes me that people are that fucking stupid that they think they can take liberties with people just because they're in the public eye.
That's the thing, though, because you know what it is? It's people always, when you, especially for rappers, we talk a certain way, we talk about certain things, we talk about a lifestyle, and people want to just test if you're really about what you're singing about, and if
you
that makes
pretending
sense.
or not?
Like, are you really about this life? Like, or are you just rap capping? Are you just capping in your raps? Like, so people always try and test it as a celebrity, especially a rapper as well. And I feel like that's come with its hardships along the way, and it puts you in a weird place. It's like trust on the streets. It's like someone coming up to you. Are they looking at me because they know me, or are they looking at me because they want to do something? So you have a certain aspect of, I don't know, paranoia in a sense that comes with it. But
Because when people look at you, because a lot of people that are watching or listening to this may have never experienced this, but if you have any profile, whether you're a singer, a rapper, an actor, you know, even just like an influencer, people recognise you in the street and they look at you. And some of them don't look at you and smile. It's like they stare at you.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're from the street, when someone's staring at you, you're thinking, is this guy or this person going to do me something? And then you're straight away, you're like on the defensive.
Mate, for
and they
years,
just come up and go, I love your music.
mate, for years. Do you know how many times I made that mistake and how many times I've almost punched up fans? Because it's like I'm looking at them, I'm like, you good, bro? Like, why are you looking at me like that? What's wrong?
You're fucking.
And then the
you're
next
in
thing,
N-Dubz,
and
mate.
then it is that, and that's exactly what it is. And I'm like, bro, I'm so sorry. Come, give me a cuddle, bro. I'm so sorry, man, my guy. But it's been a few times, man, where that's happened, and yeah, but it's kind of like it comes with it, I guess. You know.
Yeah. And when you obviously your life changes when you become you're already like hot because of the name and because everyone's following the band. But when you actually sort of started to do concerts and you had #1 hit records, how did your life change? Or didn't it change? It just meant that you had a bit more money and you...
Well, to be honest with you, I've always kept the same circle of friends around me. I haven't got brought in new friends and new people that I hang around with. So if I start acting a bit Hollywood, my friends will bring me back down to earth slightly. not in like a hating sort of way or anything like that. But they would never let me get ahead of myself. Because if I walk into a room and I'm too fly or something like that, they'll say, hey, yo, superstar. For some reason, when a man says that to me, it does something to me that really humbles me. Right. And it just goes, no, I'm not that guy. I'm still me, you know. I'm still me, bro. Like, what are you up to? Like, don't try and paint me with that superstar brush, bro. I'm still the same old me. And I feel like it's kept my feet on the ground this whole time, you know. Right. And, all right, cool. When we started doing the shows and things started growing, and I was like, oh my God, I don't ever got to do none of the shit that I ever did in the past ever again. And I've got all of that money saved from it. I'm going to spend all of that first, which I did. I went mad. Spent all my money.
Did you have a 100 shoe trainer collection?
I had a.
You were like the Imelda Marcos of Adidas.
I had a shoe box full of cash.
See, that's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Shoe box full of cash.
Just open it and smell it.
I used to have issues, and I still have these issues till today, where I don't like to spend money. I like to save money. I don't like to spend it unless it's going to bring me more money back. Right. So unless it's going to bring me a return, then I'm not spending big amounts of money.
Right.
And I've always been scared to spend big amounts of money. But when I started getting like music checks properly, and then that transition from being on the roads to being on the stages and being successful, I was like, you know what? I need to never go back to that again. And I've got that money here, and now I'm going to just splash it. And I splashed all that money that I saved for all of those years.
What did you splash it on? What was your first thing?
My first thing, I called my mate up, yeah? And I was like, bruv, do you want to come shopping with me quickly? I'm going to go get a couple trackies in Camden. And he's like, yeah, meet me in Camden. And I've already called my friend, that owns a rental car company service. So I rented this Vauxhall Astra at the time, back in the day, yeah. And I was like, yeah, man, got the car. I got pick up my brethren, met my friend. We went Camden. I went and bought some trackies. I said, you're with me, yeah? So what do you want? I bought my friend a load of trackies, and then we got in the car, and then we went to Hatton Gardens.
Right.
I went and bought myself my first chain, and I bought my friend a ring while I was in there, diamond ring that he wanted. And then that summer for me was like the greatest summer ever.
Right.
Because I was just splashing the whole summer. Not the music money, all the money that I'd saved from prior. I was like, I'm getting rid of this. I don't want this money around me. I don't need it. Mate, we went out clubbing, shopping. I bought all my friends' clothes, all my friends' jewelry, myself jewelry. And then after that, money was gone. I was like, all right, that's gone now. Now, let's make sure that we never spend money like that again. You've got it out your system. And kind of just been like good with it since, man, to be honest. So my life didn't really change that much when I started getting money, because I still had the same outlook on like.
I didn't know if you moved away or if you just stayed in Camden.
I moved to a nicer part of Camden.
Right, lovely. Yeah.
I moved to Hampstead.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like, we always looked, when we used down in Chalk Farm and Camden, we always used to look up the hill towards Belsize Park and Camden.
I want to be there one day.
We're going to live up there, that part of Camden. And I moved to the nicer part of Camden for a few years. And when I had my daughter, I was like, yeah, I'm moving now.
Right.
And that's what made me move out of London.
And with the N-Dubz, obviously you smashed it as a band. You had all your number one hit records. What was the biggest event you played at? Did you do Wembley?
The biggest thing for us is that we was never like we never had to be like support artists. So we got so big on our own right that we was always headlining our own shows.
Right.
And which put us in a position to be able to bring artists through and put them on stages. Right. So the biggest thing for us was to be able to have such a fan base where we could tour ourselves.
Right.
And for us to be able to sell out arena tours and sell out all the tours that we did on our own without no other artists involved or anything like that, that was like the biggest things for us. So we've done Wembley, we've done your O2s, we've done your Manchester arenas, we've done them all 10 times over. And for us, it never gets boring, man. We just love going out and touring for the guys. And, last year, I don't know if you know, Terry, we done a massive tour again last year, which sold out in seconds, literally.
I actually saw, I think I see you at a polo thing, and then I see Talisa a few weeks afterwards, and then I was going to come to I think it was one in August, but I wasn't here. I was going to come because...
Okay.
But so I heard it was like phenomenal.
It was phenomenal, and we ended up. We was gonna do the Emirates Stadium and the MK Dons Stadium up in Milton Keynes, because the amount of tickets that was being sold for these shows. But we ended up doing 4 nights sold out, top to the bottom, at the O2 Arena in London, which is a capacity of like 22,000. So we done like 86,000, 88,000 people over 4 days.
That's mad.
We would have sold out the Emirates in seconds.
Yeah.
But for us, as a business, it made more sense for us to keep adding the arenas and literally give people a great show. But like I said, man, our thing was to be able to just be on, the biggest thing for us is to be able to put on our own shows and be our own headline acts and do these massive venues like the O2s and your Wembley arenas and stuff on our own. So for us, that was like the biggest one of the biggest achievements for us, to be able to go out and just tour for the guys, man. And
obviously, when you've gone a few years into N-Dubz, obviously there was a few issues that Dappy had. He had because he got arrested, didn't he?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was he got arrested for. Was it fighting or was it because?
It was fighting at a petrol station one time.
Right.
Same thing. Someone wants to say something and then it escalates. And then because you're well known, everyone knows it's you. So then you're getting nicked for it.
What actually happened to him on that? He got charged, didn't he? Was it?
He got charged, but I think he just got community service for it, man, at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And with you, did you ever have any trouble? Because I know you said there was that thing about when your studio got raided, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, but you know what? To be honest, like we had like a crazy group of friends, and I feel like the police thought because we was successful at the time, that we was possibly harbouring criminals and harbouring evidence. But basically, there was a firearm that was used in a shooting, and they thought that it may be in my studio or at my house. So they came to my house, spun the studio. They didn't find the firearm or anything like that, but it hit mainstream news and everything like that. So on something like that, you get a lot of backlash from media from it. And
I suppose also because N-Dubz was I know it was a rap band, but I mean it was aimed at a young audience, wasn't it? So
yeah.
I suppose with that, it's sort of like, oh, is this organised crime?
Yeah, and
are they all walking around with firearms? You know.
Yeah, and then you're associated to certain establishments and things and charities and whatnot. And at the time, you lose those charities and whatnot, and because they don't want the affiliation, and yeah, so everything has a knock-off effect, you know, and what happens. But the early years was, I had my fair share of time in the police stations and the cells, but I always said to myself, I ain't ever go in jail. And touch wood, till this day, I ain't ever touched jail, where all of my friends have gone to jail.
What was the longest sentence one of your friends has got?
My brethren, he's still in jail now. He's got like 15 years under some imprisonment under public protection. So it's no longer a thing anymore, but it was called IPP, and It serves a mandatory sentence. It's a life sentence, a 99-year sentence.
Wow.
But it was like he got 15 years and then on IPP, so you have to do at least 13 of those years, and then they might consider some sort of reformation for him to start coming out and stuff like that. So he did like 12 years, which was the longest out of all of my friends, and that was to do with that firearm that they was looking for.
Oh, so they found it eventually?
No, they didn't. Never found it, but the evidence was overwhelming against him, innit? So he ended up doing time for that.
I thought they needed to actually get the weapon, or is it all done on because someone
cameras,
right?
Flipping DNA, bottles, cigarettes, whatever it may have been. Was
it somebody murdered then? Was that
no? Someone was hit, but no one was murdered.
Right. Okay. But I suppose if someone gets shot in England and they know it is, it's still gonna.
It's just as bad, bruv. It's just anyway. I just feel like guns in general should just be banned everywhere in the world anyway.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they only have one purpose.
Right.
You know, and that one purpose is to cause harm to someone else. And without those sort of things, I just feel like no man should possess that sort of power anyway.
And I suppose as well, because you was on the receiving end of it, even though it's nothing to do with you. And then obviously one of your mates, I mean, did you still stay friends with him, or did you?
Yeah,
right,
he's still a good friend of mine, man.
Amazing.
He'd always be a good friend of mine no matter what happens, you know.
Right.
Like situations happen in where we're from that, you know, sometimes there's no way out, and there's only other option is to do a madness. Right. And he done a madness. Right. For real.
And obviously Talisa had a problem as well, didn't she? Because she someone said that was it the press fed her up, or was
it was
or was it a friend? Somebody
it was an entrapment thing.
Right.
Where the press decided to group up and spend some money to get this story put together. And yeah, man, it was we've been through so much when I think about it. So when you're bringing up certain things, yeah, and it's putting me, no, you know what it is? It's putting me back right in that moment. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, we went through that as well. But yeah, T had that whole ordeal with being set up by the press and then being on every single flipping newspaper in the country and then Paps outside her house not letting her breathe. Oh mate, what a time to be alive.
I mean, I suppose really for you guys as well, you made it when you was 19, so I mean that's really young.
Yeah.
Right? And then obviously you've had to cope with the pressures of fame, and then obviously you've had, you know, like you said, some of your friends behaving badly, and then obviously them coming at you thinking you're involved. Obviously you got these fights with people, you got all these, you know, then it's like, how can we entrap, you know, I mean, it's kind of mad. I mean, I kind of get the press would want a headline, but actually...
But the reason why they did that is because we put an injunction on a certain newspaper
Right.
So they couldn't write about us anymore. And I think it entirely pissed them off. And they were like, all right, cool, we're going to come for you now then.
Right.
And then since we put that injunction on them, it was like we had a barrage of bad press all the time. Like no matter what good we did, no matter what charity that we was part of, and anti-bullying campaign we was on, and this, so it doesn't matter, bruv. The press are having a field day with us right now, right. And that's how it was at one point of our career. And to be honest with you, we just knew as long as we kept making good music and we had our core fan base, we didn't even care about the press anyway.
Right.
We just catered for our fans and the people that rock with us, you know.
And when all this stuff happened, obviously there was a catalogue of incidents. Did your record label stick by you, or did they?
Yeah, to be honest with man,
That's good.
We always the setup that we had with our label was we was partly on a major label, but we was partly independent. And the guys that run the independent side of the label, they were just like 2 40-year-old men from up north that used to run like all the clubland stuff.
Right.
And they were like, bruv, like, we don't know anything about your fan base or your music, but you know your fan base and you know your music. So whatever it is you guys make, just bring it to us and we'll put it out. So for us, our situation was different from many artists at that time. We didn't have to please loads of people. We was like really self-sufficient in what we did. So we'd make the songs ourselves, I'll produce all the music, and then collectively as a group we would write the music, the songs.
Oh wow.
And then and then we just give it to the label and they'll put it out for us. And that's ideally for us was the best position that we could have been in, because it gave us full creative control.
And when would you say the band sort of broke up? Was that?
I would say end of 2012.
Right.
I'd say we did our last tour and last few gigs abroad, and then we took a break for 10 years.
Wow. And what was the cause of that? Was it just because you all decided you wanted to try your own stuff?
You know it was, yeah. Daps and T are blood cousins. And I feel like we've been working together for 10 years before we'd even made it. And then another 6 years on top of that. It was like 16 years we was around each other every single day and night. And I think Daps and T started having their little things that was ticking them off about each other.
Right.
But they'll argue like...
If you live with someone
they'll argue for like brothers and sister, yeah?
Right.
And then the next thing you know, they make up again because they're family. They're like literally. So 1 minute they hate each other, and the next minute they're at house eating dinner together with their mums and dads and stuff. Right. So it's mad. So but at the time I feel like their arguments and their tensions were getting too much, and we said, you know what, everyone let's just take a break for a little bit, because this is actually just gonna explode otherwise, and let's go and do some solo bits here and there, and then we'll come back and then bring it back for N-Dubz at a later point, and that's exactly what we did. So
what did you so at that point, Fazer, what did you end up doing?
So I ended up going and opening up a production company.
Right.
Because away from N-Dubz, musically I produced all the music for N-Dubz. So I had a talent for making records. So I took that talent outside and started working with other artists and making songs for anyone that was kind of like in the industry at that moment and was popping and was with a label. And I made ridiculous records with those in that time, made some really successful songs, had some number ones, had a couple million albums sold in the meantime with some artists that I've been working with, you know. Wow. And that time was great. It really gave all of us some growing space to really like hone in on our personal skills,
right? If
that makes sense. And then when we come back to do music again, it's like we all knew individually who we were as artists. And then when it came back to the studio recently, it was just the way we clicked in the studio was sensational, man. Wow. It was really good. And it gave us a lot of time to develop as individuals, if that makes sense.
And how did the band get back together then? Was it like you ringing, or was it Talisa ringing?
Well, we knew that we was always going to bring N-Dubz back. So it was just a thing about timing. whether I was going to be abroad doing production in LA or in Korea or wherever I was, or if Dubz was going to be touring or still releasing music, or if T was still going to be doing the TV stuff. So everything was all about timing. And we were supposed to do it like a few years prior, but then came in. So we had to put it on the back bench for a couple of years. And then after COVID, then we announced the reformation of N-Dubz and stuff. So yeah.
So what did you do in COVID? Everyone's got a COVID story.
What did I do in COVID? I became everything that I was supposed to not. So I became a gardener, a full-time gardener. Listen, I got the best at mowing lawns.
Right.
Yeah, I started to the point I started doing like.
Have you got a big F in the middle of yours?
Like, listen, I started doing logos and stuff in my lawn. I got so bored, man. Oh my gosh. I painted my fences about 4 times, different colours, because I didn't like it. And then I started running like parties online. Yeah, I started running parties. So I'd get my DJ decks in my garden.
Oh, right.
I got like, you know, like crates, like the massive wooden crates. I've got 3 of those crates, put some bamboo around the front, made a tiki bar, put the decks on the tiki bar, bare lights, yeah. Flipping hell, we're having lockdown sessions. Let's have a party on lockdown. And
were the neighbours sort of looking over the fence, or were they joining in?
No, they couldn't come in because there's lockdown.
I didn't know if they could, if as long as they stayed away 2 meters.
It was mad, bro. But to be honest with you, yeah, I was just doing online parties. I was doing a lot of gardening, doing a lot of farming. But yeah, it was a weird time to be alive, man. Such a weird time.
Well, the thing is, well, probably not your youngest, because they probably won't remember, but your 11-year-old,
she'll remember
when she's like 30 or 40 or whatever, she'll probably look back and go, oh, I remember that, because it was a mad time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell my kids. Yeah, I had to go to the shop, yeah, in bulletproof vest, and go with my sawn-off shotgun to get toilet paper, because there was a frenzy for toilet roll. And it wasn't safe going out to get toilet roll. The whole nation went into uproar for toilet roll. I don't know why. We was in a pandemic, but everyone felt like toilet roll was the main thing that we needed.
Do you know something, right?
I thought that was the
Do you know when you talk about
time.
crazy shit?
That's crazy, right?
That was the craziest shit ever. And I remember, like, my missus, because my wife goes, she does the shopping, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, and she come in one day, and I narrated an audio book. I was taking full advantage of not being able to go out and see people. So I thought I'm just going to develop loads of content.
Yeah.
You know, we made a few films, so things were busy for us in the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I always remember sitting indoors, and my wife coming and she went, "We've got a problem." I said, "What's that?" She said, "There's no toilet rolls." Like, "What are you talking about?" She went, "No, there's no toilet rolls." I said, "What do you mean there's no toilet rolls?" She said, "There's no toilet rolls." She said, the whole thing's, it's like someone's gone in there, ram-raided it, and stole all the toilet rolls.
Mad.
So I've gone to I've got to shut up, you know, I'm going to go. So I got in the car and I drove to 4 supermarkets, massive, like, you know, outlets. And there's none, right? So I went up to one of the people and I said, "Excuse me." I said, "Where's the toilet roll?" Right? And they went, it's all gone. She said, "If you want to get some, you got to come at 7 in the morning." I was like, 7 in the fucking morning? I said, "Does it stop you getting COVID?" I said, "What is
Mate,
what
I
is
don't
it?"
know.
Right?
I don't know what the belief behind it was, but we went crazy for toilet roll.
And I looked online and they were selling fucking toilet rolls for 100 quid on Amazon. Right?
You're lying, bro.
And I'm thinking, this is, no, not Amazon, it was eBay, right? And I thought, the world has gone fucking mad. And I've gone online and you see people basically taking pictures. And I don't know what it was, but it was always like overweight people pushing a trolley, which was full up with toilet rolls. There was no food. It was just toilet rolls.
Man, just eating toilet roll and surviving on toilet roll for COVID.
And I said to my wife, I said, "Look, I said, I don't want to be that guy, but I've got to get up at 7 in the morning because I'm not going to be like a dog sitting outside wiping my ass along the grass."
Madness, bruv. Madness.
So,
but yeah, so what a time, crazy time to be alive. But during that time I was doing like, for me, it was super busy for the production because artists couldn't be out on touring. There was no venues open, so everyone was just in studio. So for me, as a producer and making records for artists, it was like one of the busiest times for me as studio-wise, man. Every artist was just in the studio for those 2 years, and we were just knocking out records after records after records after records. It was a busy time for me in lockdown as well.
was you inspired by the toilet roll story? To make a toilet roll song.
I was inspired to punch someone to say, "Bruv, calm down, bruv, man. Like, you're taking the piss, bruv." And you don't need toilet roll to take the piss, bruv, unless you're a female. But
I had to get up. I honestly got up at 7 a.m. and I queued up, and there must have been a mile queue. And literally, as soon as the door opens, everyone's like, ah! They're all going to the toilet roll.
It was
and
mad.
I was like, f***ing out. And I had to do it. I had to join in the bullshit.
So definitely I'm going to tell my kids that I needed a bulletproof vest, and we had to go fully loaded to get toilet roll.
But do you know what I did? I actually did get concerned, right? So what I did is I went down to the ammunition shop and I bought a load of ammunition. And I started putting all the ammunition around my house. And my wife opened one of the drawers and there's all these like cartridges in one of the drawers. And she goes, why is there ammunition around the house? And I said, look, if these people are going into supermarkets and they're like, if there's no toilet rolls, and if the food runs out, people are going to be jumping over the fence and coming in the house. And I said, I'm going to be prepared. They're not taking my toilet rolls.
Yeah,
I will kill them if they come in and take my toilet rolls.
You know it. You know what the countryside's like, man. We got licenses out here, man.
Yeah. No, it's good to have. Do you shoot as well?
Yeah, I do.
Do you go on Alex's shoot?
I go on Alex's shoots as well, yeah.
Well, we'll have to do that, Fazer.
Yeah, man.
Because I'm a crack shot. And that's because I've learned to shoot birds. Nothing else.
Yeah, no, I've got a really good shot, man. When it comes to clay pigeon and game and stuff like that, man. I've been doing it for a minute now, and it's like one of my hobbies.
Right.
Like send the clay pigeons up and just I love it.
When you hit them right and you just get
it's lovely.
The little cloud.
It's just if you know, man, you just got to wait for it to slow down, and then once it slows down in the middle of the air, then they're easy to hit, man.
See, that people watch this couldn't imagine me and you with the flat claps tweed.
Hey, listen, I go fully loaded. I shit you not. Listen, Farmer Faze, yeah. When I go out and I've got my flipping tweeds on and my wax jacket, yeah. Hey, listen, my hunters on. Yeah, man's outside. But I said to myself last year, so I'm gonna do it in a Nike tech fleece and a belly.
Right.
Yeah, so last time everyone's coming in their tweed and their wax caps and that. I come in a tech fleece, a Nike tech fleece, tracky, my belly, like that, yeah.
And you got the hoes going.
Everyone's looking at.
Everyone's going, who's that? And go, don't worry about him. He's a rapper.
It's not even about who's that. They're not even saying who's that. It's like, who's that? Over there.
He's a rapper. Do you know that man over there with a balaclava? What's a rapper? Shooting it.
Why is he wearing a balaclava for? It's because it's how I feel.
It's how I roll.
It's how I feel, bruv.
And where did the name Fazer come from?
My love for motorcycles.
Right.
So there was a Yamaha range of a motorcycle called a Fazer. It was like my first big 600cc bike that I bought. And I never used to walk anywhere. And to be honest with you, you wouldn't even think that bike had a front wheel.
Wow. Because
I was always on the back of it, on the back wheel. And that name just kind of just stuck with me for years. People used to call me Fazer because of the bike and whatnot. And then it just kind of just stuck with me, really.
And Talisa's name?
That's her full name.
And Dappy?
This came from Dapper being the Dapper D.
Right, okay.
Yeah, the Dapper
What's his
Don.
real name, or can't you say?
Kostas.
Oh, Kostas, right, okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Kostas, the Greek Kostas. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's funny because I always thought Fazer. I either thought it was something to do with Star Wars and the gun, or it's you because you didn't get phased. So now you've told me what it is. You know, I know.
Yeah. But definitely, man. It's funny that you said that, yeah, because I'm working on something, because nowadays what producers do, they have a producer tag, where it's like they'll say something to let people know at the beginning of the record that it was produced by this thing, where it helps with their brand as a producer. So a lot of people got their own tags, but I'm gonna use one from Star Wars.
Right.
It's like, get the phasers ready. Yeah? Beam me up. Like, beam the phasers ready. Yeah? So I'm gonna get them lot from Star Wars to do a producer tag for me. So every time I produce a record, before that record starts, it's gonna say something from Star Wars about the phasers.
Wicked.
Funny enough that you said that.
And what you sort of doing? I mean, one thing I was going to ask you is, now you've just done that tour and it was sold out. Are you thinking of getting a band back together, doing new music?
Well, to be honest with you, we done an album last year that was top 5 album. Went number 1 in the UK hip hop and R&B charts as well, which was spectacular for us.
Amazing.
Then
Was that off the back of the tour, though?
off the back of the tour
Amazing.
as well. Yeah,
Amazing.
so we released a whole new album called Timeless, which charted really high, which was over the moon with. We've got a few more things in the pipeline this year, which I can't disclose on this, but I'll tell you afterwards. We got coming up, which is going to be great for like the fans and stuff to like just to know a bit more about our story and the come up to where we're at now. And then we've got plans for another tour, and there's also plans for us to get back in the studio in the next couple of weeks to do new music.
Wicked.
So we're gonna keep trading as N-Dubz. The run's not over. To be honest with you, I feel like we're still just getting started because we did our first run, took a hiatus for 10 years, came back, sold out the biggest tour of 2023 and 2022. Like, it was no one done a bigger tour than that, and the amount of tickets that we sold. And then the top 5 album, #1 on the urban UK sort of hip hop charts, and then now we've got the things coming up in the pipeline and new music and new tour for next year. So everything's busy right now for us, and trying to find the balance between babies and beats is mad. But
Are you gonna have any time to be in this movie, though? That's what I need to know.
hey,
because-
listen, we've been saying this for a minute, man. But you need to get me in a movie, bruv.
We
I
are
always
doing.
I always
we are
thought
doing-
that, like myself, in one of those sort of gangster sort of roles, Top Boy type things, or something along these sort of British sort of gangster music. I reckon.
I'll share. I've got a script. I'm actually putting it together right now, and I know we spoke about it last year,
Yeah.
but we weren't ready. But this year we're ready. So
But listen, I'd
I'll
love to
drop
come
that.
down, even if I just came down just for the casting and just read the script, and even if I didn't get the part, I don't care. At least I'll be able to just get into the mode and say, you know what, let me get into character. Let's go.
but no, I don't think you need to audition, Matt. I think you're.
Yeah,
I've got
I feel
something
like
for you. Yeah.
if it was a gangster sort of character, I'd just be playing myself anyway.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Well, we're doing a film called Tales from a Trap, which is it's Rise of the Hood Soldier. So
Ooh, I like the sound of that, boy. Because I liked your original movie, bruv. Rise of the Foot Soldier. That was the most gangster movie ever, bruv.
yeah, did you see Rolling with the Nines as well?
Rolling with the Nines,
that
of
was good
course.
as well. Yeah, so
Yeah,
we've had a few good movies, and I think I
Rolling
think
with the Nines was sick as well.
yeah,
I enjoyed that.
Another Hood.
Another
That
hood.
was good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've had a few
Yeah,
few
man.
bangers in that space. You know what I mean? But it's
Yeah,
good.
man. So listen, let me know, man. I'll be happy to get involved and play a character for you guys, man. It'll be sick.
Amazing. And if you was going to give any of our viewers or listeners, because really, like, if you think, you've come from the hood, you had nothing, you worked your bollocks off, you got chart success, you become I don't like to use the word rap star, pop star, but you become like famous all around the world. You toured everywhere. You had #1 hit records. So it just shows that, if you put your mind to it and you don't mind putting the hours and the effort in, you can achieve greatness.
Look,
But you've done it twice.
Yeah.
So be great if you could give our viewers and listeners, because there might be somebody listening to this or watch this thinking, I really like to be a rapper, I really like to be a singer, I really like to start a business, but they could take maybe some lessons from you or some advice from you.
Listen, I know it's going to sound cliche. Most people say, follow your dreams, believe in your dreams and this and that. But I'm just going to just tell you this now. Just know exactly what it is that you want, first and foremost. Because if you don't know what you want, then you're just going to get mixed energies from the universe. So #1, first and foremost, know exactly what it is you want in this life. Because once you have that knowledge of what it is you want, this universe and this life has the most beautiful way of giving you all the little tools you need to make that thing successful. Like, for example, I want to be in a movie, yeah? How comes I've met this person that's introduced me to another person, then I ended up coming to an event, then now sitting down with you, Tel, and then now we're talking about there being a script. Why? Not because I manifested it, it's because I actually just wanted to be in a movie. And I feel like the universe has an amazing way of just putting all the right people and all the right things in your life to make that successful and to make that happen for you. So my thing would be is, #1, make sure you know exactly what it is that you want. And then #2 is to do everything in the now. Don't procrastinate and put things off. So if you know you've been meaning to send an email to someone and you haven't sent it for the last 2 weeks, but you know you need to send that email to get some sort of clarification on something, just do it in the now, because then you know what's going to happen. You're going to get an answer or you're not. Either way, you're going to know where you stand, and then you can keep moving. So my thing is, do everything in the now. Don't procrastinate. Just do it. And once you start moving towards what it is that you want, the world and this universe will just put all the chess pieces into place for you. And it's an amazing thing, but you have to know what it is you want, and you got to start putting action towards it to meet somebody that's going to introduce you to someone that's going to sit down next time at this table, and then next thing you're having a board meeting about this whole thing that you've wanted. How did you get there? And for us, we done it twice. We knew we was going to be the biggest the first time round. We worked day and night towards it. All the little chess pieces started coming into it, because at the beginning it was just a dream and a blank canvas, and we started putting music to that canvas, and then the dream started to come alive, and we was working day and night. And second time round, people thought that we couldn't do it again. Everyone said they're not going to do the arenas again. They're going to go into somewhere smaller, in academies and stuff like that. We said, no, we're going straight back to arenas, 100% straight back to arenas. And we believed and we knew that we was going to go straight back into arenas. We came out and announced it, 60 seconds, the tour was sold out. But my thing for anyone is, the first and foremost, know exactly what it is you want, and then start putting work into into that direction, and then everything will just come into place. It has a beautiful way of doing it. It just always, you can go through, do some research, go and look at most successful people. It will be the same thing. They knew exactly what they wanted, and they started going towards it, had nothing, and then everything just started to come into place. And that's with anything. Like, someone said I was going to make a car at one point in life, and everyone called him crazy. Someone said I was going to make a plane at one point in time. Everyone called him crazy. But here we are. We've got phones and cars and automotive and transport, and all the developments that we have in AR and VR and all AI and all. If you said that 20 years ago, some people said you're crazy. But that one person kept to it. Everything played its part, and then now we have these things.
The only thing I wish I'd have done is even come up with the idea for a smartphone and patented that idea.
Trust me, bruv. Or if I had known about how much a URL link would have been.
Right.
When the internet first came, I would have just bought manunited.com, I would have bought arsenal.com, chelsea.com, all of the football. Hey, listen, all of them, yeah? You want that .com, yeah? You can pay
Show me the money.
Show me the money. Ain't that a famous saying from a movie, innit? Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Show me the money, bruv.
And we did have a funny dog story. Can we share that?
Yeah, we can share that. But one thing I just want to say, just touching on that other thing, yeah? Right. Like, if you are struggling to find that motivation in you, yeah, just you have to be an animal in this life. You got to go for it like your life depends on it, because it fucking does. It does depend on it. So if you're not going to go hard for yourself, no one else is going to go hard for you. So ultimately, it all boils down to you and your drive for what you want,
Do you know what? I love that, because lots of people, especially nowadays, the kids at school being told you don't have to win, it's taking part. And you got these kids now, I don't know if they're called millennials
Z,
or whatever.
Millennials, whatever.
And their thing is, I don't really want to work Mondays or Fridays. I want to live my best life. But the reality is, if you do want to achieve anything worth having in life,
yeah,
you've got to be 24/7 focused. Yeah. And you have to be, it's like,
it's like kind of like crazy in a sense.
There's a million people all wanting to try and get that thing. Mm-hmm. And if you want it, you've got to beat them. Right?
Yeah, but it's
how many fucking rappers and singers are there trying to be the next N-Dubz? There's millions of them.
But
there's only one.
There's only one. But that's what it is, man. And then just let this year and next year be a big F you to all the bullshit that you said that you was gonna do last year and didn't do, bruv, and say to yourself, you know what? Let that be a big F you to those bullshit that I've been saying that I was gonna do, and let this year and then the following years be a big F you to that, and just go hard. Literally go hard, because like, do it like your life depends on it, because it does, bruv.
There's two sayings I love: go hard or go home.
Yeah, bruv.
And that Nike logo, just do it,
bruv.
Because that's what it's all about. Just do it. Just go and do it. And look, what's the worst case scenario? Worst thing that can happen is you don't fucking become the next N-Dubz, or you don't become a millionaire. But
we never know until we
never
try.
know.
We never know until we try.
And I've always found that if you go on a journey for something and you don't hit it, you normally end up hitting something else
On the way.
or somebody else you meet on that path goes, what about this? And then you go, oh yeah. And then something good comes out of it. So even when things don't go right, and even when things you think they're going wrong, they are sometimes going wrong.
Trust, bro. Believe that, man. I'm a firm believer of that, and I've always believed like that. I always feel like I'll land on my feet in this life, no matter what happens.
Are you one of those guys that if you fell out of a building, you'd land in a skip and it would have a fucking mattress
In there?
it?
Yeah, bruv. I'm definitely like a cat. I always land on my feet. Always land on my feet. You know, and I've always had that sort of blessing behind me to know. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just a belief thing that I know I'm going to land on my feet, that I will always land on my feet type thing. I don't know. I don't know how this world works. I just know it's magic and it's a beautiful place if you really put it into motion.
Absolutely. But we have to share the event, the dog story, because that was so funny.
I think that was a violation to me as a human being. I've got this massive dog, and we was at this party. Me and you, we was at this party, and it was for dogs and stuff. And I think it was like a jewelry thing for dogs.
Because when you turned up with your dog, I was thinking, I didn't know you could bring dogs, because I've got a little Maltese Shih Tzu cross. I think they call it a shit Maltese, right? And if I'd have turned up with that and you got your fucking... Because what dog you got?
A cane Corso.
Yes, you got a cane... He'd have probably eaten my dog.
Yeah, man. He would have looked at you, the dog, like dinner, bruv. Yeah? What are you? Is that my dinner? You've been looking at me. Is that dinner? I'll be like, nah, son. You stay away from these little dogs. But it was there, and then I'll tell you the story, but it was so funny that my missus fed my dog a load of crap the night before. And I was driving into London with the dog.
Did you
in
have
the
a row
boot.
with your missus? Because it's the sort of
No,
thing...
but it's. I feel like she knew that I was going to this thing, and I feel like she wanted to sabotage it on purpose. Anyway, fed my dog a load of stuff that he weren't supposed to eat the night before, and I'm driving into London, but my electrics on my car was faulty at the time, so I couldn't even put down the windows in the car. This dog's farting the whole way, bruv. The car stinks. When I tell you this car stinks, bro, I cannot, bruv. You see, dog fart. It's not the one. Anyway, I can't open these windows on the dog. I'm telling this dog, stop farting in the back. I'm saying, bro, relax your ass. I'm saying to this dog in the back, I say, relax your bum, bruv. What are you doing? Anyway, we get to this place. I before I walk into the venue, I'm like, I know this is a nice place, and you've been stinking out my car. We're going for a walk. So I take this dog for a walk. He does his bits, his number ones, his number twos. All right, cool. We're ready to go into the venue now. Go into this venue, it's all nice. We're doing the paparazzi thing by the board and pictures and everything like that. I left my dog for 2 seconds, went and spoke to someone. Someone come back to me and said, mate, Fazer, you need to come over here, mate. Your dog's done something, your dog's had an accident. I said, what do you mean he's had an accident? And before I could even see what he'd done, I could smell what he'd done.
I know that smell.
And the thing is, I know that smell because I'd had to live with it for the last hour driving into London with it in the car. I was like, oh, he's not. And the worst thing about it was we was downstairs, but I don't know if you knew there was like a 5-star restaurant upstairs, like all bougie.
Oh, that's where you was?
No. That's where everyone.
That's where the dog was?
No, the people were eating their food started complaining,
right?
Saying, mate, we can smell shit. We can smell shit while we're eating our food, like this. So they asked me to leave this venue with this flipping. I said, dog, you done a shit inside the venue. Put a long story short, but it was disgusting. It was never again situation. I'll never take my dog to another event ever. He's staying at home. He's lost that privilege.
I think your wife would be happy about that because she's probably put out that you didn't invite her to the event.
Yeah,
and then the dog before her.
And out of all of the press that I get, from that night was about the dog doing the poo, bruv.
Fazer's dog shits up red carpet.
Not the fact that I had new music out or anything like that. Nothing. Dog poo. It was the most important thing.
You should put a picture. You should put a picture of the dog on the. That should be the record cover.
In it with his sorry face, like with his long face.
He was good though. I mean, I only met him briefly.
He's a good dog, and he's well trained. Like as in, like he would listen to everything I say, and to the point if I told him not to shit, and he was about to do it, he'd probably stop himself halfway through his shit and stop.
Right.
I said, bro, what are you doing? He'll stop and look at me. Hold that shit in. But But yeah, man, it's been a journey, man. That was something I never want to experience again.
And obviously we've had a funny story about a dog, but when you was actually on tour with N-Dubz, there must be some funny stories where you've done some crazy shit or some funny stuff.
Tour is always a funny place. There's always something going on tour. There's always a laugh going on. And there's plenty of stories, but I feel like some of the stories that if I was to say, not really appropriate for we were just young
People
boys.
that are watching this are over 18, you know.
Yeah, I know, but we're just young boys, man, having a hard time adjusting to fame, man, and you know, women and stuff. It was just by the bucket load, and it was just mad. It was the whole thing was just it was just turmoil.
Did you prank each other? Because if
Well,
I was with someone,
our thing was on the tour bus. We had rules, innit?
Right.
And the communal areas are not for sleeping. If you fall asleep in the communal areas, you're now liable to get fucked with.
Right.
So, and also no pooing on the tour bus. Right. Because if you go toilet on the tour bus, every bed has got these little air vents on them, and for some reason it decides that it wants to throw it through everyone's vents. So no pooing on the bus and no sleeping in the communal areas. Best believe that every night someone fell asleep in a communal area. I felt sorry for the people that fell asleep in the communal areas. If you go to your bed, no one's going to mess with you because it's the rules, isn't it? But because you fell asleep in the communal area, it's peak for you, man. We used to do the worst things. We used to get Rizzler papers, yeah, and just put them on people's lips and quickly burn them. Like burn the Rizzler paper so it burns the lips, so you got a little cold sore the next day, like... We used to throw like leftover foods and kebabs on people while they were sleeping, and mate, it was mad. But the beautiful thing about touring is just like being able to get out and see the world, you know.
Yeah. And
every day you wake up, you're in a different city. Like you go to sleep and you're leaving Glasgow, for example, and you wake up and you're in Brighton. Like, how the hell did I get from Glasgow to Brighton? And then next day you wake up again, you're in Manchester, in a different city. So it's nice to be able to get out and see places and meet new people and stuff. So that's the beautiful side of touring. The prank side of touring was always a thing for us anyway. Yeah, and obviously the argument side of tour. Because we're perfectionists.
Right.
So people don't see how perfectionist we are and how passionate we are about what we do. So with that comes passionate arguments.
Well, I suppose if you know what you're doing, and you know what Talisa's doing and what Dappy's doing, if they don't do, or they stand in the wrong place, or they cut over your line, then all of a sudden it's like... nobody notices.
Do you know what our biggest argument was last year? Set list. What songs are we going to perform? And the order of the set list. Mate, if someone had walked into the rehearsal studios at one point, they would have said, are these lot going to kill each other? And what are we arguing about? Just to make the set the best it possibly could be.
Right.
But with that becomes effing and blinding and you this and you that. No, you don't know nothing. I know everything. I know we all know this and no, but what do you know? Why do you want to do these old songs? No, that don't fit there. It just makes everyone stand there like this. No, we're gonna. And in the end, we have an amazing set list. And then off the back of that tour, most people will vouch it was probably one of the best shows they've ever seen.
But if you hadn't have had that, then
the show wouldn't have been what it was. And that just goes because we're just passionate about what we do and we're perfectionists, you know. So we're looking forward again to the next tour. It's going to be fun. And we're outside, man. N-Dubz 2024, 2025 is going to be busy.
So the tour won't be this year, will it?
We'll announce it this tour. This year.
So 2024, there's going to be a big announcement about the 2025 N-Dubz takeover.
Yeah, so there's going to be a big announcement of something that's coming along very soon. And with that, we're going to announce new music. And with that, we're going to announce a tour. And we'll leave some time to sell the tickets, and then we'll go on tour after Christmas.
Right, wicked. So Fazer, I'm sure when people see you up on the stage, there's you, there's Dappy, there's Talisa, and people watch it all, and if someone was to actually ask you, what was your role in N-Dubz, what would you say? It's
mad you say that, because Daps and Tia are like massive personalities in themselves. They're just really massive personalities and whatnot. And people might just think, oh, Fazer's just a rapper in the group that just raps. That. But beyond what people see on the exterior, internally, I feel like what I bring for N-Dubz is like, it's like the glue, if that makes sense. Musically, production-wise, I've done all the music for N-Dubz, so all of the songs that you guys know and love, I produce those records. When it comes to the touring side of stuff, I then take those records down, I strip them down to nothingness, and then I'll audition a band, I'll bring the band in, we would do all of the rehearsing of these songs. Obviously there's transitions, songs have to go into other songs, so it's a whole musical direction sort of thing that I do on the tour to bring the tour to life. When it comes to vocals on the tours, sound checks and all that sort of stuff, I'm very hands-on musically when it comes to the direction of the group. So I feel like without my sound, production-wise, the sound of N-Dubz would have been completely different.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of people may ask what I do in N-Dubz and what I bring to the table, but I feel like without myself in it, it wouldn't be the same as what it is now,
Right.
if you know what I mean. And anything musical, N-Dubz-wise, is pretty much my forte, and that's my job within the group.
Well, I think with that insight, you know, because people do sort of turn up at a concert or, you know, a performance, and they just turn up and they just watch it all, but they don't actually know who was the guy who's doing. They probably think you've just got some minions that run around going, "I've got you."
Yeah, I've got you. Write this song, sing this song. You get me? The beats are all done.
But
for you.
you're basically the driver. You're the one that sits there and goes, right. You know.
So if we was like, for example, let's say this room that we're in right now, let's just say, we're gonna be living in this room for the next 2 months, 3 months. Shut that door, me, Daps, and T only, no one else, and I mean nobody else, just us three in a room. Shut that door, leave the laptop there, leave the mic there, and the speakers here. Everyone else leave the room. Put us three in that room. We'll write albums and produce albums and record albums all in-house without not one other person stepping in. Not no vocal, not no engineers to record us, not no producers to make our beats, not no writers to write our songs. Like literally us three, and lock the door. And we'll write albums. And that's been our beauty. That's been our strength within.
I thought you was gonna say that that's a new reality show you're doing at home with the N-Dubz.
No, but that's what's been that was the key to our success, is really being hands-on ourselves. And then when it comes to releasing songs and when it comes to doing tours, we've really been like passionate about all of this sort of stuff, and it shows. When people come to these shows and see us perform, we put our heart and soul into it. They would leave saying probably one of the best shows that they've ever seen. Or when we go into the studio with other artists and stuff, they'll leave and say, them three are beasts in the studio. They're absolutely insane. They're on a different level. And it's happened time and time and time again. You know?
And with when you actually look at the stuff that you've done, do you think when you looked at when you did your tour originally, and now you come back and done obviously your tour last year, would you say that all the people that was at the first one so you had like some older people there, but then also you had younger people there, so the younger people are now getting into it now, that may not have been around then?
I feel like what helped us so a lot of that tour is that at the time we had our first time round, we had a lot of young fans as well. So we had the generation that was our generation and a little bit older and a little bit younger. But we also had the school kids, the younger kids. But they were too young to come to an N-Dubz concert.
Right.
So when we did the tour last year, these kids are now 18 years old, 19, they got jobs, they got their own money, they're living their own life. Do you know what I mean? There was an opportunity for them to come and see the groups that they grew up with live in concert, which they never got the opportunity to do it. I think they just literally ran for it.
Because it's funny, because I think what music does, like when I was doing Garage Nation back in the day in One Nation, we had we used to have we're actually doing a comeback gig
But the Garage Nation.
You'll have to come. You'll
listen,
have to come.
You look, when you lot used to do that stuff with Heartless and all of that back in the day, yeah. But Garage Nation we was there, man, and they used to do it down in King's Cross as well, didn't you? Yeah, bruv. Where what did they used to call it? Bagley's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bagley's.
Bagley's was Coliseum Vauxhall.
Yeah, Coliseum.
But what was interesting is we used to record the night and then we put the music out. And obviously, because the music was mainly white labels and dub plates,
Yeah.
a lot of the kids would then get the music from the night, listen to it, and go, I really want to go to that thing. So then when they're old enough, they were coming. So for us, it was literally like an advertising and marketing campaign to the people that could come and that enjoyed the night. But then also the younger people could come and that couldn't come could listen to it, get into it, and then aspire to come. And that's probably what's happened with your thing, because you had the kids that listened to your music weren't old enough or didn't have the money to come at the gigs. And now they've got the money and you've gone on back. It's like, wow, we got to go.
Yeah,
you know?
so you got the younger lot and then you got the originals that was there. So collectively it just went mad. And then, we done another tour again last summer, which is like a summer tour where we just literally rented out parks and then just made our own festival.
As you do.
We just put on basically our own festival. We headlined it, had some support acts there.
Right.
And we literally turned parks out to festival. We done Gunnersbury Park in London, which you were supposed to come to last year, which was sick, bruv. It was madness in a park. And we feel like next year is going to be great as well.
Who did you have supporting you on the undercard? Who was?
We had a few DJs,
Right,
and a couple of artists. Wes Nelson, Nathan Dorr. But
Wes done well, didn't he? Because he was on Love Island and then started singing and just cracked it. Everyone was like,
man.
wow.
So then, so he was on the tour with us. But it was predominantly just our thing, really. People were just turning out to see N-Dubz, and it's great, man, because it just makes us self-sufficient, really. We don't really need to rely on anything or support to do this sort of stuff, you know. So it's great.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming down the pipe, as they say.
Yeah, man. There's a
movies, tours.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot
good.
coming on, and then I feel like, even though we've done so much in our careers, we still feel like there's so much more for us to do.
You're still spring chicken. You're not that old, are you?
No. We're still young, man, and you know we got the vibes right now, and everything is correct, man. Our heads are in the right place. Musically, we're still doing very like up to relevant music. Our music don't sound dated at all. It fits in there, slots into now's music nicely.
Yeah. And do you think you'll always be N-Dubz, or do you think you might?
Yeah, no, we'll always be N-Dubz, man. And I feel like N-Dubz are kind of like, we're gonna be like Take That and you two and these lot. They're gonna just be able to tour for years and years to come.
As long as you're not like Mungo Jerry.
No, but the reason why I say that is that we'll always be able to tour.
Yeah.
N-Dubz will always be able to tour.
Well, Take That have done really well, and I know Robbie Williams stepped out of it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's still gone. But I mean, I think you know, whichever period you look at, you know, it's sort of like if you look at the 80s, it's all sort of Bananarama, Bros, and all that sort of stuff. And then if you look at the 90s, you've got people from the 90s. And I think every decade you've got, and obviously in your decade, you know, it's not like if people said what were the biggest 10 bands in those things, N-Dubz would be in that list. I don't know where it would be, but it would definitely be in the top 10.
Definitely be in
and
there.
People would be going, like you talk to anybody about N-Dubz and they always go, and like, you know, we had the joke about that, no thing. But everyone knows that thing, and everybody sort of knows the songs.
Of course.
And knows the words.
And that's the thing, man. Like we made such an impact, and we're blessed to be able to live the careers that we did, man, and still be able to push out music as we are now and still continue to tour. Yeah. You know, it's a blessing, man.
Brilliant. Well, Fazer, thank you so much for coming on.
I tell you, it's always a pleasure, man. And let us know about that script, man.
Mate,
it's going to be sick. I think the people would love to see that.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Criminal Connection podcast. Fazer from N-Dubz, what a great guest. What a funny guy. I hope you found out some things that you didn't know about the man, the legend that's Fazer. Make sure you tune in next week. We've got another fantastic guest, and we will see you on the other side.